Hello and welcome to That British Homestead. Today we're looking at 7 ways that we can preserve that glut of a harvest this summer. Let's get started.
Number one is pickling, guys. Pickling is a fantastic way to preserve some cucumbers, onions. And one of my friends swears by it. She pickles tomatoes. They taste fantastic. So it's a great way to preserve things that you just can't grow in the winter. And who doesn't love them crunchy, fresh and preservative-free cucumbers? I love them. Number two is canning. Whether you water bath or pressure can, it is a fantastic way to have long lasting things on the shelves, from tomato sauces all the way up to meats. I preserve a lot of my tomatoes this way. It produces wonderful sauce, no preservatives, completely organic, and I enjoy it all winter long. Just the taste of summer is amazing. Water bath canning is good for some things that are high in acid, and those in low in acid is recommended to pressure can them. It is a fantastic way to store things very, very long term, and they taste amazing once you open them. Number three, dehydration. Now, you can dehydrate things using a dehydrator. That's how I do with my squashes to make flour. However, say that you didn't have a dehydrator. Now this one only costs 20 quid off Amazon, okay, and it works fantastically. However, say you didn't have that, it's perfectly okay to dehydrate things like herbs or anything really on these racks or in the oven. It's a great way to make onion salt. That's how I made all my onion salt, or to make tea. Number four is freezing. Freezing is a fantastic way to preserve anything. As you can see here, I'm using a vac packer to seal meat. That's great for long storage so that you don't get freezer burn. However, you can use other ways, like using freezer bags to put meat or even vegetables, strawberries for smoothies. It's a great way. Sometimes when I'm overwhelmed with the amount of harvest that I'm getting, especially tomatoes, I'll go ahead and throw them into a freezer bag and save them for later, even without blanching them. I'll also put lots of vegetables up in the freezer without blanching them in freezer bag. Number five, curing.
Curing is probably the easiest one to do. It's like super easy. So basically you take your pumpkin or your winter squashes and you would just sit them by a window with good circulation, or on a porch or something like that, and over time the skins will get really hard so that they are able to store for months. I mean, some pumpkins and squashes don't do so well about February, you have to use them by, but some of them can last for over, I've had a pumpkin here for over a year, and with the day I crack it open it was perfect. So it does last for quite a long time. But you could also dry garlic and onions, and you can also dry potatoes in the same way so that they thicken up and are able to be dry enough to store. Now I like to store my onions in onion plats because I think they're very nice, but to be honest, nowadays I kind of just stick them into baskets. Same with my garlics. Now mice, if you're worried about mice don't like onions and garlic, so I don't have any problem sticking them into a basket. It doesn't attract any rodents in.
Number six, fermentation.
Now, if you haven't tried it, you should. Kimchi is amazing. I'm actually growing Chinese cabbage just to make kimchi. Incredibly good for your microbiome. If you've got any tummy problems, you should be eating things that are fermented. Yogurt, amazing. Kimchi. You've got sauerkraut, which is a fantastic cabbage dish. You also have things like the fermented carrots. Oh, it's one of my favourite things to be saving and using over the Christmas period. I love fermented cabbage. You can ferment pretty much anything. Any vegetable can be fermented. You have to put a ratio of water and salt into a jar and make sure you submerge it below the level of so that it doesn't get to the air. Now, it is absolutely normal. It will go cloudy, and after a couple of weeks, normally 1 week for me, because I don't like it too sour, I'll actually crack into it and use it, and it's really great, especially in the winter months. And I've known this to last at least a year. It's amazing stuff, and it's so good for you. So if you haven't tried it, give it a try.
Number 7, oil.
Now, full disclosure here, I started out number 7, or keeping things in oil, to preserve garlic for the long-term storage, because after the winter, garlic becomes really soft and it just ruins the actual bulb. So I used to put it in oil to preserve it. Now, as soon as I tasted that oil, I was addicted to it. So now when it goes a little, the garlic goes a little bit rubbish, a bit soft in summer, I'll actually take my fresh garlic and I'll make flavoured oil. Now, as you can see, I've actually added some herbs and things into this oil. You can put chilies in it, you can put pretty much anything in it and get a fantastic flavour. But I like it where it's got the herbs and it's got the garlic. We don't use chili because I've got a little one and they don't like the spice too much. I love spicy food, so that's a really great option too.